Hello guys, I make TikTok-styled condensed videos on politics, policy, and political science. If you're busy and want to know stuff quickly, this is a channel for you. I spend a lot of time trying to convince people that China's one-party system is not the affordable heaven you think it is, but not very successful. Because when I show people the hard data, they're like, what about those nice videos on RedNote? And then when I show the videos of some poor areas without paved roads, and people are like, nah, those are probably from 20 years ago. How do you know these videos are new? I don't blame you. Even some upper class Chinese have no idea what poor people in China live like because of this quasi-segregation system called hukou. It's very important. Google it if you want. So I'm not going to talk about poverty today. You believe what you want to believe. It's very hard to change your mind unless I fly your asses to those poor areas. I will, however, show you some information that's very easy to verify. How so? Because it happens in not just poor areas, but rich areas as well. You can easily see it in every Chinese city or by asking anyone who lives there. Actually, I didn't know this until I saw a TikTok made by an American living in China. I can't find that video anymore, so I just describe it. So this guy was apparently having a blast in China, with a pretty good mood, living his bourgeois life in a rich area of this nice city. I forgot which one. But he noticed something weird when driving past a high school every night. He saw a lot of cars waiting to pick up the students at 9 p.m. And he was shocked to learn that the school release time was actually around 9. I was shocked too, because I went to high school in China in the 90s and it was not like that. So I thought maybe that school was a special program for some extra advanced nerds. And then I read the comments to the video. Every Chinese comment says it's normal, okay? Some folks are like, 9 is nothing, I get off at 10. Not a single comment says, no, my school is not like that. No. I couldn't believe it. So I checked a lot of Chinese and English sources. It turns out it's true. It's absolutely the norm in China. High schoolers starting from the 10th grade normally stay in school to finish their work until almost bedtime. And normally there's more homework after school. And not just that, almost every high school has classes on Saturdays. I was like, no way. I knew China adopted the 5-day work week at least 30 years ago. And now the high schools just went back to 6 days again? What is going on? The government realized that it was a problem. So the Ministry of Education published a guidance requiring high schools to ensure 2-day weekends. But guess what? Nobody listened. Partly because the ministry wasn't that serious anyway. They still reward schools that produce better test scores with more funding and more promotion opportunities because the government wants to train more of those high-tech sweat workers. So of course the schools care more about the monetary incentives than some useless guidance. And plus, the parents are also super cooperative. They're totally happy that the schools also serve as wardens to guard their little shits. This happens everywhere in China. Rich kids, poor kids, all subject to the same ordeal. Some of you probably think it's a good thing. Keep them busy so they can't do drugs or get pregnant. Well, if that's your life philosophy, discipline over everything else, maybe the Chinese system does suit you. But I want to say that the state of China's high schools is not just about kids. It's a reflection of a stratified society. The stakes of entering a good college and high social class is very high. You either fight tooth and nail to have a decent house, apartment actually, very few single-family houses in China. Or you end up in extremely low-paying jobs or even sweat factories. The competitive culture in essence is a sign of inequality. Why would people subject themselves and their children to that torture if blue-collar jobs had a decent salary? Right? This is why I always say, if you want to have a better idea about the Chinese society, you need to chat with the delivery guys, the construction workers, plumbers. Use a translation software or something and ask them about their work hours and living conditions. You can even pay them to show you around their circles. I don't know. If you only chat with posh English speakers, you'll think everyone live like them. Nope. Also, you should know that even though the Chinese culture is generally tolerant to the tough school system and tough life in general, there are a lot of passive forms of resistance. One sign is that people just don't have kids anymore. It's not that normal for a middle-income country to have this few babies. I guess some people are just probably thinking, if I have to torture my kids like that, maybe I should just not have them. They didn't ask to be born into this 80-hour work week. Who am I to make that decision? I know some of you probably still don't believe me, so ask around, please. I'm sure if America survives this Trump apocalypse, many people will want some radical changes to the political system. That's totally reasonable. But the direction of the change should be toward more political parties, not the opposite. Okay, no political scientist or economist will tell you it's a good idea to copy a one-party system. Try to talk to people who study different political systems for a living. People like Hassan Piker is not a credible source, guys. Okay, those being said, even though I hate to see kids being forced to study, but if you voluntarily want to study, or if your kids voluntarily want to study, I do provide tutoring services on math and some other subjects. So check out my website hueylee.com if you have that need.